Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host Cody Potter. How y'all doing today? So we got a couple little clips. We're going to talk offense today. Just going to kind of bring this to y'all. We'll just go through these quick little clips and then we'll get right into it. So first thing, we're going to show you the Chicaquanco little timing rhythm. You know, Jayden with his GoPro on his helmet. We're going to get into that in a second. You know, it's about to play a little clip because I wanted to get into this about a timing thing. This is going to be the difference in the separator for this team on offense, man. Like this is where this team is really going to thrive. This is going to be the complete difference of this team moving forward. The biggest thing that this does for the offense, man, is it eliminates the spy from the defense, man. Like Jayden Daniels, we already know can run. The running needs to be the third option for Jayden Daniels. Like if you cross what Jared Goff does in this offense, factor that in with what Caleb Williams does off schedule in this offense, where Caleb Williams doesn't play so good in rhythm and in timing. You know, we see it. We know what it is. We know Caleb Williams can make all the throws, can make that highlight throw, you know, jumping across his body, throwing it across, throwing on the move. Things Jared Goff cannot do. Jayden Daniels can do those Caleb Williams things. But Jayden Daniels can also play quarterback to the Jared Goff level. And then you factor in the legs on as the third outlet, the third option, man. Like this is going to be the biggest separator for this team, man. I actually tried to show this to you guys last time. This is just something that, you know, makes me very happy watching Terry McLaurin here, you know, getting them 2 feet in bounds, man. I think Scary Terry is going to have himself a year, dude. I really do. I really am excited to see what just Terry McLaurin being featured in an offense, man. Like he's always been that type of player. He's the type of player that you should feature in an offense. We're just going to play some clips and things like that for train OTAs and things like that to keep it going. You know, most teams, they cancel the third week of OTAs, so next week we probably won't have them. Attendance has been great. Laramie Tunsil came last week, was not present this week. He's back in Alabama doing his thing, which is expected. You hear a lot of reports, you know, Josh Connerly, you know, leaning out, man, adding muscle mass, you know, getting rid of some of the body fat, things like that, man. I expect I like Josh Connerly Jr., man. Like he's a player that I really do like. You know, just there's a lot to like from this team, man. You know, hearing about the UNLV wide receiver, undrafted free agent, man, kind of standing out, having some big catches and things like that, man. Like, this is another factor that goes into this, man. Like, the depth on this team, man. We are 3 years in, and you're starting to see not just the top-end talent, you know, the free agents and things that you've brought in actually given term. You're starting to see the identity of this team take shape. But then having, like, a quarterback like Marcus Mariota being your number 2, working with backups and things like that, working with undrafted free agents and things like that. So when you get the second and third team on the field, you have a quarterback like Marcus Mariota who has ran not just the zone read offense that we know he specializes in, where he was so dangerous with Cliff Kingsbury and things like that, but he has ran this type of offense when he was in his time in Atlanta. Was it his best fit all the time? No, it wasn't, but they also didn't, you know, throw in a bunch of variations of the zone read, so it never blended with his skill set, you know. The zone read is still going to be a factor in this offense. You know, you're still going to see a bunch of shades and things like that Jayden Daniels thrived in with Cliff Kingsbury, but the West Coast, you know, skill set, you know, the West Coast offense, the timing, the rhythm, and things like that is going to be a nuance of this offense that is really going to transcend this offense to a different level. And I really do believe we're in for something special, man. I believe Treylon Burks I think it's finally going to click for him, man. Like, injuries have always been the thing. The talent has always been there, so the injuries have been the biggest, you know, factor as far as him not really panning out as at least a 1B number 2 receiver. I mean, he's always had the talent to be a 1. You know, with Terry McLaurin here, I mean, if Treylon Burks ascends, you know, even if it's 800 yards, you know, receiving or whatever, you know, and like 5 touchdowns, I mean, that'd be a hell of a season, man, like for a guy that is very capable. I mean, and then, you know, like I said, I showed you that little clip of Chicaquanco on a timing route and things like that. Like, that isn't even the skill set that you best, added Chigakwanko for. I mean, that was a timing rhythm play and catching over the middle of the field, catching in traffic. That's more of a Zach Ertz type skill set, which is something that I don't think Chigakwanko has had the resources around him in his time in Tennessee, whether it was Will Levis or a rookie Cam Ward. We haven't seen Chigakwanko have this level of quarterback, which I believe he's going to have here. So he's going to actually be able to add some of that Zach Ertz nuance to his game, and then we know what he is after the catch and things like that, and just another safety outlet for Jayden Daniels. The running aspect of Jayden Daniels' game has to be the third thing. It always has to. It's going to have to be the third. If he can play under center, drop back, hit his three, rocket that ball out, and he's doing that, that eliminates the spy. Then you start factoring in play action. So, I mean, the running game has to work. The running game has to run through these running backs, whether it be Katron Allen, whether it be Bill Jacory-Cross-Kamara, whether it be White, whether it be Jerome Ford, whether it be, Henry, a running back that I really, really like out of UTSA that was an undrafted free agent this year that I think has a chance to really, I mean, if he's not on the practice squad, I mean, I don't know what's going on because he's got the talent. Robert Henry is a really, really good running back, and he fits stylistically what this team wants to do. And we all know how the injuries pile up, but is he going to outperform, being able to stash him away on the practice squad? It's very, very possible, man. He was a draftable grade, running back for me coming out of college this year. So, again, having Henry, Robert Henry, having Bill Jacory-Cross-Kamara, Jerome Ford is a really good running back in his own right. I liked him a lot coming out of Cincinnati. I'm happy he's here. He's a very good pass blocker, and he's effective as a pass catcher, but he is a really, really good, in between the tackles, physical, downhill runner, and I think Katron Allen gives you that too, and I think Katron Allen can be a pretty good receiver. I think, it's not something that he's accentuated at his time in Penn State, but the dude is Penn State's all-time leading rusher for a reason, man. He's a really, really tough guy to bring down. He's very, very good with his vision. He's very, very good with his contact balance. He's never shying away from contact, man, and he just runs behind his pads. He's a very, very good talent, and I think he's going to excel here as a sixth-round rookie. And be a very, very impactful player for this team, and we need him to be because, honestly, this running game is going to be a very, very big factor in play action, and play action is going to be that number 2 outlet, and that's going to open up a lot of things for the explosives down the field. If you listen to David Blau and his, interviews through OTAs for the first 2 weeks, explosives, man, like it's always protect the ball. That was the first thing he said. Explosives, being able to hit your explosives when they're there. Play action is one of the biggest things. Timing, nuance, offenses. Having the running game working, having the timing rhythm plays work, and then you set it up and you get them explosives. We got a quarterback that we know can drop the ball into a bucket down the field, make the reads and things like that, and then put the ball where it needs to be for the receiver to make a play. We've seen that with Jayden Daniels, not just as a rookie. We saw it in his down year last year. So again, I'm really, really excited to see what Jayden Daniels can be. I know this kid can be a top 5 quarterback in this league. It's not a bias. It's not because I'm a Commanders fan. He has every skill set. I mean, if I can create a quarterback in the lab, I've been doing this since I was a kid, and this has always been the quarterback. You look at Michael Vick, you look at Lamar Jackson, you look at that. It was always having the legs, but then not just having the legs, but, being able to play the quarterback position. And that was something that Michael Vick took way too long to really, really develop before it really, really clicked for him. There was a lot of things that happened off the field and things like that that kind of led to that. But when he got to Andy Reid and he started to actually play the quarterback position and make the reads with Deshaun Jackson, having that LaShawn McCoy running game, and then the legs were kind of the afterthought, which he was still athletic enough to do it, even though he was in his 30s by then. We saw how deadly he was, and he had an amazing, second half to his career because of that, or second portion of his career because, he missed some time and things like that due to the off the field things. McNabb using the legs early. Cam Newton using the legs early, kind of broke down at right around the time that he went to the Super Bowl. He started to actually read it and things like that, but then of course the body broke down and things like that. So again, it's just things take time, man. And then I'm just going to share some clips of Katron Allen just to keep it going for the pod. But again, man, Jayden Daniels coming out was the most advanced passer that I've ever seen with the leg skill set that he has. That leg skill set is elite. It's elite level. It might not be Lamar Jackson, but it's right up there with him. And then, you factor in RG3 and guys like that. RG3 never even had a chance to develop his career long term to where he learned how to read the play and play the quarterback position from behind the pocket and things like that. Jayden Daniels can do all these things. And that's why I'm so excited to see this kid, man, because the pass catchers are good enough. Luke McCaffrey has had 3 years to develop. He's clearly in shape. Like, you're looking, if anybody that's going online looking at the clips of him on like Twitter or X, things like that, YouTube, things like that, like watching the practice reports, like Luke McCaffrey, it's clicking. It's clearly clicking. Look at his body compared to look at year 3 and look at year 1 and year 2. His body is clearly, it looks like a vet. It's coming on for this kid. It's going to slow down. He's taken the steps. He's flashed. He's excelled in his ability to play the ball down the field and not just be like an underneath versatile asset for this team, which was something that for his height and his size, the route definition that he has, the nuances to his route ability, you always saw him get open and things like that. Maybe he wasn't dialed into the play, maybe it wasn't really, maybe it was the third look in the play, kind of like the last option into the play. He never really got the look in it, but we've seen him win. And that's something that I think is going to finally click for this guy on the field. And I mean, Luke McCaffrey can play outside. Like, him and Treylon Burks can very, very much, play intertwined and have two different, dimensions to what they add as far as, the physical, which is Treylon Burks' dominant skill set, and then he has yards after catchability. Luke McCaffrey is a lot of, before he gets the ball in his hands and things like that, and then, separating and, using his body to shield out. And he's developed and showed some of that last year playing, within his body, being able to shield out defenders and things like that down the field and things. And I mean, he can win up the seam. He has the speed to do it. I mean, Luke McCaffrey's not slow. And then, everything that we're hearing out of camp is Terry McLaurin. I mean, still fast. Terry McLaurin looks like he's in the best shape of his life. I mean, he looks like he could go into the boxing ring right now. Like, he's yoked up. I expect a career year from Terry McLaurin. I don't know if he hits his 13 touchdown mark just because of all the weapons and the different nuances and stylistically, I don't think it's going to be featured to that level. But Terry McLaurin's always been one or 2 yards away from having, 3 or 4 more touchdowns each season. Even his season that he had 13 touchdowns, he got tackled on like 4 big plays that were, brought down at the 1 yard line. I mean, it just happens. But I mean, Terry McLaurin can very, very much, 87, I think, receptions in a year is his high. 132 targets, I think, is his high. I don't know if he necessarily gets over 132 targets, but I think he'll be right in that realm. I think he'll have more catches, though. I think he is going to have a career year in receptions. I think he's going to have a career year in reception yardage, just simply based on this offense, man. Like, the X in this offense, man, has always produced. I mean, whether you look back in the Shanahan system and it be Andre Johnson, we know all the receivers that Kyle Shanahan has had excel outside as the X receiver, the number one. And it's not just because they're playing outside in the X, it's because they move them around into the slot. Terry McLaurin, I mean, playing 80% of his snaps in the, on the left side, not being moved around. I mean, that's a hindrance to what his ability is. And then you have Antonio Williams, who can play inside or go outside. Luke McCaffrey can play inside, go outside. Treylon Burks can win inside or outside. I mean, just having these versatile pieces, man. I think De'Ami Brown in his own right is going to be an impact player, man. And then, like I said, man, the undrafted free agents, the one out of UNLV, 6'5". I think there's a future for this kid, and I think he is going to very, very much make the practice squad. And I think it's going to be, he's going to be a hard player to cut, man. And then I haven't even gotten into Jalen Lane, who is I think he's going to be an elite, kick returner, punt returner, kind of like return special teams player in the league, who has ability to win up the seam and give you kind of that Debo nuance. I mean, he's not the physical player that Debo was, but he's a speed player, man. And I really wanted to get into this offense on this episode, man, because I think we're going to finally see it all click for this team. You're going to see the years of development for Jayden Daniels. I think last year, there was, 1, a lack of weapons. I mean, 2, a lot of factors played into what happened with Jayden Daniels. I don't think we're going to see that, man. I think you're going to see year 2 of Josh Connerly look really, really, really good. Where early on, I mean, he went through the gauntlet year 1, and I mean, injuries kind of piled up on Jayden, and it wasn't even a product of Josh Connerly Jr. getting beat early on in, the season and things like that. Like, it was a lot of off script, kind of fluky, like, just fell weird on it, kind of trying to create after and getting tackled from behind, a pressure that came off the edge and kind of looped back around and, brought Jayden down as he got back to the line of scrimmage and things like that, and Jayden wasn't seeing it. Again, a lot of factors went into year 2 for Jayden Daniels, and this team kind of it kind of started in the offseason. I mean, the narrative around this team was completely different. Terry McLaurin is the tone setter for this offense, man. He's the tone setter for this team. The energy that he brings in camp and in practice, man, the way that he works, the way that he works out, not having that guy in the building. I mean, Antonio Williams is only going to be the best version of himself because he's in a room with Terry McLaurin. Treylon Burks never had a Terry McLaurin in Tennessee, man. Like, and you just see it differently with him now. I mean, when you see a guy work like Terry McLaurin works on and off the field, it only resonates to the rest of the roster. Then you add in like a guy like Sonny Styles, who you get all the reports out of Ohio State, man. One of the first guys out on the field, in OTAs right now. He's already wearing the green dot. Like, Leo Chenal, his skill set, the variations of talent that you see from him, finally getting his opportunity here. A guy that's been a very impactful player for the Kansas City Chiefs, not just going to, be a role player on this team, but be a staple to this defense, man. I mean, like, this defense is going to be just as variationed as the offense. I wanted to really focus on the offense for this episode just because I think this offense is going to be a transcendent, thing, and it's because of Jayden Daniels, and it's the skill set. It's being able to have those legs as the third option. But this is something that I've always said, man. Like, if you have a elite level athlete at the quarterback position who can actually play the quarterback position from the pocket with timing, with rhythm, you got to have 12 defenders. And when you erase the spy from the quarterback position because you can play from the timing and rhythm standpoint of the quarterback position, you cannot spy this guy anymore. And like, when you erase the spy with Jayden Daniels' legs, I'm telling you, man, the quarterback level of play that this guy can play with, if healthy, in this type of offense, where you still factor in some of the things that he did under Cliff Kingsbury, the pistol and things like that, the things that he's comfortable doing, the college gimmicky things. You can call it gimmicky, but it cannot be the number one thing. Like, you cannot run your quarterback that much. Lamar is a unicorn. Cam Newton is 6'5", 250 type. Josh Allen is 6'5", whatever. But Jayden Daniels is not that guy. Not physically, not staturally. And you don't want him to do it because his best actual asset is that he is a better quarterback stylistically behind the pocket. He is a much better reader and processor of the field from the quarterback position than the Josh Allen, than the Cam Newton and things like that. It took those guys their whole career to get to the level that I believe Jayden Daniels came out at. And now you're going to finally see it in the offense, and you've seen him even take the step of, realizing he had a bad year too, needed to come into a different offense. It's going to be a different thing. He's going to play under center more, and that's only going to help him even more once he adds that diversity and he shows that he is willing. Teams are going to spy him early in the season. It's just going to be what it's going to be. Everybody knows what Jayden Daniels is as a runner. If you think the Eagles aren't going to come out and spy him week one, Dallas isn't going to come out and spy him week one, you're crazy. But what's going to erase that is Jayden Daniels hitting that, 1, 2, 3 set drop, back foot in, go and rip it up the seam to Chigaquanka, or have Terry McLaurin coming in on a quick slant, or having a double move and things like that, and then dropping it into a bucket on a 12-yard corner or things like that. Like, when those things start to happen consistently and the running game is consistent around Jayden Daniels to where it's not running through Jayden Daniels, the sky is the limit for this offense. We've never seen it. That's kind of why I was so high on Jeremiah Love, just because of the impact that I know he can give you out of the backfield. One, as a pass catcher, and two, as a running back in between and outside of the tackles. It doesn't have to be a Jeremiah Love. We just never get to see it. We just never get to see a Jeremiah Love with that type of quarterback. And that's why I was so high on it, and the talent was there, and the grades were there. Compared to the level of players in this draft class, we still got that type of graded player, but we just got him on the defense, and we got the quarterback of our defense now, so it doesn't matter. There's no love lost, man. So, like, again, I just wanted to bring this up for this pod, kind of get into the second week of OTAs. I don't know if we're going to have a third week, so it's probably going to be my last Commanders pod for a minute, unless, we get some additions, things like that. If we do go into week 3 of OTAs, I'll get into that. I probably will do a defensive nuanced, episode for the Commanders one more time before I get back into the college thing, because it's college for me, man. I've been breaking it down like crazy, and, life is busy and things like that, but I am going to get these podcast episodes to you, man. I've been doing a lot of work. I might actually go with the quarterbacks next, because the quarterbacks are all graded out for me, at least as far as going into the season. I did the wide receivers and I did the edges. Those are positions of need, I think, that are going to be highlighted and focused on for the Washington Commanders early in round 1 and round 2 next year in the 2027 draft. That's why I did those first. Quarterback is not a position that, if we're picking quarterback, man, something went terribly, terribly wrong, and I just don't see the season going that way. I think Jayden Daniels is going to have I think he's going to have one of the best third years a quarterback has ever probably had in the history of the NFL. I think he's that good. I think he's that level of player. We can only hope as Commanders fans, man. I don't know if the team is, Super Bowl bound. I'm not going in, any expectations into that. I don't know if the roster is complete in that, it would have to gel a lot better. And I don't think we have necessarily the consistent. I don't think we have the dominating edge player yet on this roster, that true blue, whether I said like it'd be the Colin Simmons or one of them guys that's coming out in the draft, I don't think we have that player yet on the roster. I think Odafe Owe is going to be a really good player for this team. I think K'Lavon Chaisson is going to be a really good player for this team. Leo Chenal is going to be a really good player for this team, but that's a collective thing. You still want to have that guy that's just scheme diverse. It just breaks up game plans no matter what team, no matter what the tackle is and things like that. That can just win the one-on-one no matter who they're going against. Right now, it's still going to be stylistically schemed up and things like that. But again, we'll see what happens, man. I think the sky is the limit for this team. I think it's going to be a really, really good year for this Washington Commanders team. And like I said, running through the gauntlet, the first 10 weeks of the season, it's only going to make this team better going down the stretch. And if you can perform to the level that this team needs to perform to win those type of, to come out of the first 10 weeks of the season with a plus level record, with a positive record above 500, if you can get through that stretch of the season, I think the sky is really going to be the limit for this team, because that means it clicked. And we're going to see. We're going to see in training camp. We're going to see when we have, joint practices. We're going to see in, mini camps, things like that, and everything leading up into the season. And then we're going to know by the time week 3 is here what this team is really, really going to be trajectory wise. And I think, like I said, I think the sky is the limit with this team. I think Jayden Daniels is everything that you want from the quarterback position, mentally, physically, and just everything on and off the field. And I think he has the processing ability to win from the pocket. If you were to erase his legs, which is something that most of them quarterbacks that rely on their legs early, it changes into that by year 10. Jayden Daniels has the ability to do it year 3, and I think that's going to be the difference. And I think it's going to, transcend the league. I really do think he's going to be a transcendent player in this league. I really do. I think he's got everything to be that player. It's got to happen. And this is going to be the beginning of it. I really, really do. I think David Blau in this system is going to be really, really transcendent for Jayden Daniels. So from the Blue Chip Podcast, thank you guys for checking out the episode, man. We're going to get back into it, college, NFL, things like that as the news hits. And I really do appreciate you guys checking out the podcast, and have a blessed, safe week, and love your family, all those good things. Peace.